So what I've got right here is the Sony A7IV, and just there is Donington Park. I'm going to be honest, this event is quite quiet. Apart from the cars, that's the McLaren. I've only just got here and there's been a massive accident. There's a car on its roof in front of me. Oh shit, hopefully the driver's alright. That looked sizable.
I.e. what's been interrupted for the second time by a red flag.
I feel like I'm going to be cleaning the lens a lot today. This weather is a bit miserable. So in terms of the gear I'm using today, as you know, I've got the Sony A7IV, and then the lens I'm using is the 70-200 Mark II. Now I've actually been to Donington multiple times shooting photography, and the 70-200 is actually plenty enough for this circuit because you're actually quite close to the action compared to other circuits. I do want to get the 2x teleconverter in the future though, but it's like a £500 extra accessory. But for today, 200's long enough, and to be fair, it's my only telephoto lens. I'll tell you about the filters in a sec. On the front of the camera, I've got a variable ND filter so I can get the shutter speed down and keep the aperture narrow, and also behind that a CPL filter to cut through reflections. Okay, I wish I actually did have an umbrella and also a carrier bag for my camera because this is some heavy rain right here. But qualifying is going. We're going to start doing some panning stuff. So I'm going to start at 1/100 for a second to get warmed up a little bit. Look at that McLaren, I think I nailed at least one shot there. And then we got this Renault here. Nice. Oh, that was a nice shot actually. That was pretty good, you know. I like the colour of this Porsche. Okay, that was good. Tracking it all the way through the frame. And oh, that one right there is spot on. I think that's a spiker. And I think, oh, I love the spray kicking up, man. These are some of the best panning shots I've ever done because of the rain. I've moved positions a little bit. I've come closer to this corner here so I can get in coming around that bend and really get some nice detailed shots. Because they're going around the bend, they're going a little bit slower so I can keep up with them a little bit easier. Ooh, yes, what a good way to get started. Now one thing you can also do is do a Dutch angle with your camera like this. Especially when you do motorsport stuff, it makes the car look like it's going so much faster just because you've angled your camera a little bit. That is qualifying doing it, and I tell you what, I think this is some of the best motorsport stuff I have done this year because the rain just adds another level of intensity to your photographs, and I cannot wait to start editing some of these shots. Now the race is happening in about an hour or so, so I'm going to get some food, get a drink, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I set up my camera to do motorsports. I don't know how this has happened, but I'm currently on the pit lane itself, and check out this. We've got a McLaren. We have got one of the races right here. Look how stunning this thing is, which we're going to be able to get a really cool shot of. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's in the garage and everything. Very nice. Aston Martin. Right, landscape right here. I like it because we've got the guy in a high visibility jacket, the Aston right there. Oh, that is a shot. And that It's a beautiful car, and what a beautiful shot. Nice. So the race is underway. Now normally when I do photography and motorsport photography at Donington, I stick around the first bend because that's normally the best place to get panning stuff. But I've never really ventured around other parts of the circuit, so I've come to this part here because I get a really cool like overhead look at the cars, and I think that's going to look really good for some photos. So if I track them coming down the hill like this Aston here, track it about 150 for a second, keep it in the centre, then try and follow it perfectly to get one absolutely baller photograph. Oh, I nailed that. First time and I nailed that. Oh, this is so difficult to track though. There are going to be a lot of misses, but the ones we do hit are going to be satisfying. So I guess as we've got 6 hours of racing, I can tell you a little bit about how I shoot panning. With panning photography, it depends on what you're shooting. If you're shooting, for example, a London bus in a city, you are going to need to use a slower shutter speed to make it look like it's going faster. So maybe between 180 for a second to 1/8 of a second. But with motorsports, because the vehicles you're shooting are already carrying a lot of speed, this allows you to bring up your shutter speed a little bit. So my typical range when shooting motorsports and doing panning photography is between 1/200th of a second to 1/20th of a second. In terms of my aperture, this really varies, but most of the time it's between f2.8 and f8. But my sweet spot is f5.6 because this allows me to get the front of the car in focus. Oh! Oh! We got a spinner! Oh, damn! And it also allows me to get the back of the car in focus as well. ISO is easy, always try and keep it as low as possible. So we've just come down the hill a little bit and there's a few photos I want to get here. I want to get some more panning stuff, but I also want to get a static shot of a car right there on the racetrack. So we'll go with the panning first because I'm set up for that. Look at this, a beamer on someone's ass. Oh, that's traditional. Oh yeah. Come on, come on, come on, nail it. 150th is really hard to nail here actually. It's because they're carrying so much speed. A couple more attempts and I'll nail it at 150th. Just give me a couple more attempts. 150th, give it. Ah! Oh wait, no! Oh, that was so close. Come on, come on, I want the McLaren, I want the McLaren. Fire, 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 fire! We absolutely nailed one of those shots at 150th of a second and it was of the McLaren. Look how good that shot is. Oh, I'm so happy. When you get photos like that, it is just satisfying. The next shot I want to get here before we go to our next part of the track is just a nice static shot with a car going through the frame. Something like that, just that by itself. I don't know why, I just kind of like that. That's a really nice shot. Now one thing I always get asked about when I'm shooting motorsport, that doesn't sound healthy. I'm no mechanic, but that sounds dodgy. And that is, what focus settings do I use? So in terms of my focusing mode, I'm always using continuous AF. And then in terms of my focus area, I use 3 primarily. I use either the center fixed, the expandable spot, or the tracking center fixed, which does an amazing job. It is so good at nailing focus nearly every single time. And because I'm doing panning photography, I know my subject is going to be in the center of the frame a majority of the time. So this just allows me to just hold down the button, get the focus, track it, shoot a burst, and get a ton of photographs. So that's the settings I use, and they're the ones I highly recommend. When you're shooting panning photography, there is a technique you want to use to hold your camera so you can keep yourself as stable as possible. You want as many points of contact as possible. So your first one obviously will be right here, your second one will be underneath the lens, and then your third one will be bringing it up to your eye, having it against your face, and that would be another one. But what you want to do with your arms is you want to tuck them in, almost like a T-Rex. But then what that's going to allow you to do is be a lot more stable. It's going to allow you to keep a lot more fluidity to your movement and keep it a lot more stable rather than having it all the way out here. It's going to make things a lot easier to control and give you the best chance of getting those tip-top shape shots. What? Making one final stop today before we call it quits. I'm on the grandstand, and I tell you what, the view from up here, it's a little bit mad. The photos up here are madness. He is fully sending it right there, and I was fully sending it, but was it enough? Oh, got a cool shot there of the car going down the pit lane. Oh wow, that looks so sick with the brake lights and the spray and the reflection. Oh no, the McLaren. I wasn't ready. I'm gonna get the McLaren this time. Go on, go on. Oh, I nailed it. I nailed it. That's perfect. That is exactly what I was looking for. Finally nailed that one. I'm happy with that. That looks so sick. Look at that. What can I say about that event that hasn't already been said in this video? Shooting motorsports in the rain is on a whole different playing field. Like, that is some of the best motorsport stuff I've ever been able to achieve, and I'm so satisfied. Even though by the end of the day, I was cold, I was damp, I was miserable because of how wet I was, it was worth it. And I definitely want to shoot some more motorsport in the future and do it in the rain. But next time, I'm going to try and get myself a brolly, a rain mac and a cover for my camera, because when I got back I had to get all the cameras out of the bag as quickly as possible, and I had to dry them all off because they were soaked. Now, all the photography you've seen in today's video has been edited with my preset packs. If you want to check these out for yourself, a link for them is in the description below, and all the gear that I've used in today's video is also linked in the description below as well, which you can have a look at through Amazon. But with all that said and done, I think that is where I'm going to be leaving today's video. Now, there is a couple of other car events that I'm hopefully going to in August. I'm also going to be doing another photo shoot with the Lamborghini Huracan we shot earlier this year. This time we're taking it into the countryside and going to do the rollers with it. But there is a couple of other things going on. I think there's a massive car meet in Liverpool, which I'm going to try and get to and do a POV with the A6400. And also, if I get time, there's something going on in Donington. I think it's like a drifting event, and I've never seen drifting, so I'm all about it. So if I can get there and I get time, I'll try and get to that as well. But don't worry, I'm not going into a car exclusive only channel. I'm still doing my street photography and all that other great stuff. It's just a lot of car stuff going on recently, and I'm all for it, and hopefully you are enjoying it as well. And if you did like today's video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to. It'd be great to have you on board of this ever so growing community. But until next time, create, explore, and inspire.